It all started when my wife and I moved into our new house. We were young, just married and in love, and we couldn't wait to start our new life together. Our little cottage was cozy, with its wood-burning stove and dark oak walls. But there was one room that gave me the heebie-jeebies, the spare bedroom. The room was small with a narrow four-poster bed, a wardrobe and a dressing table. The wardrobe had peeling paint, and the glass in the middle was shattered, and the dressing table held an ornately carved mirror that seemed to be staring back at me with malevolent glee. It wasn't like I was superstitious or anything, but from the moment I laid eyes on that mirror, I felt uneasy. My wife, bless her practical heart, just laughed at my fears and told me it was just a silly old mirror. But one night, just one night, changed everything. It was the middle of the night when I was awoken by a blood-curdling scream, a woman's voice that seemed to come from the very depths of hell itself. I sat up in bed, heart pounding, trying to make sense of what I had heard. Had I dreamed it? Was it just a stray cat or maybe a distant dog? My wife stirred beside me, but thankfully went back to sleep. So I lay there listening intently for any sound to break the silence. And then I heard it again. A blood-curdling scream that echoed through the house, followed by what sounded like a dull thud. My wife's eyes flew open. She looked at me, her face pale in the darkness. Then we heard it again. The scream, the thud, this time closer, much closer. We could feel the vibrations in the bed. As the seconds ticked by, we held our breath, listening intently. Finally, when the house fell silent once more, we got out of bed and slowly made our way to the spare bedroom. As I pushed open the door, my flashlight revealed the source of the terrifying commotion. The mirror on the dressing table was on the floor, shards scattered around it, and the image it once held was no longer there. In its place, a crudely drawn pentagram. My wife gasped, dropping the flashlight. I quickly bent down to pick it up, my hands shaking. As I cast the light on the pentagram, I noticed something even more disturbing. The edges of the symbol seemed to be oozing a black tar-like substance. I stumbled back, my heart pounding in my chest. Then from the corner of my eye, I saw it. 2 points in the pentagram seemed to be glowing faintly, and as I stared, they began to burn brighter. Suddenly, they burst into flames, shooting up toward the ceiling. The flames danced and twisted, forming the shape of a man. His face was twisted in a silent scream, his eyes blazing with an otherworldly fire. Then, just as abruptly as he appeared, he vanished. The flames died down, leaving behind only the stench of brimstone. Shaken to my core, I rushed to the window. With trembling hands, I pushed it open and stepped outside. The night was filled with a cacophony of crickets, but the sound of the screaming woman echoed in my ears. I turned back to find my wife kneeling beside the pentagram, her eyes wide with terror. On the wall above it, the outline of a handprint seared into the plaster. My wife cried out, backing away from the room. I rushed to her side, pulling her into a tight embrace. In that moment, I knew we had to get out of that house. We didn't know what had happened, who the ghastly creature was or why he had chosen our house, but we didn't want to stick around to find out. Grabbing whatever essentials we could, we fled the house, leaving it empty and abandoned. That was over 20 years ago. I've never forgotten the terror of that night, the chilling scream, the flaming pentagram, or the horrifying visage of the creature that lurked within the mirror. Sometimes I wonder if whoever put that mirror in that room is still trapped there, waiting for someone to accidentally release him. Now let me tell you about what happened to that house. not long after we left. It was sold, just like that, no fuss. But the new owners didn't stay for long either. They claimed that the house was haunted and they couldn't take it anymore. The place became known locally as the Screaming House. People would drive by at night just to hear the supposed sound of the woman scream. Some even claimed to see the ghostly figure of a man standing at the window. It was around this time that rumors started circulating about the history of the house. Apparently it had belonged to a wealthy merchant named Silas Blackwood, who had lived there with his wife and daughter. One night while the family was asleep, a gang of robbers broke into their home. They ransacked the place, stole what they could, and then did the unthinkable. They murdered the parents right in front of their young daughter. The child was so traumatized by the event that she locked herself in her room for the rest of her life. Over the years, people started hearing strange noises coming from the house, screams in the night, footsteps in the attic. Some even claimed to have seen the ghost of the merchant's daughter wandering the halls. After Silas's death, his estate passed to his sister, who eventually sold it. But the house remained cursed. No one could stay there for long without being driven mad by the haunting. Even the most skeptical of guests would leave the house shaken and disturbed. As for the mirror, no one knows what happened to it. Some say it was destroyed along with the rest of the house, while others claim it's still out there, waiting for someone to accidentally unleash the evil that lies within. There were several reports of paranormal investigators visiting the house. They tried to cleanse it of its evil, but it only made things worse. The spirits were agitated, and the hauntings became more frequent and intense. Eventually, the town decided to seal the house forever, boarding up the windows and putting a curse on it so that no one would ever disturb it again. And that's where the story ends. Or does it? I've never stopped thinking about that mirror, the pentagram and the burning man. Was it just a figment of my imagination? Maybe. But if it was, why did everyone who lived in that house after us experience the same thing? I think about the Screaming House often, wondering if the seal has held, if the evil is still trapped inside. Sometimes I even hear the faint sound of a woman's scream in the night. Could it be the spirit of the merchant's daughter? Or could it be something far more sinister? Here's what scares me the most. What if the mirror is still out there somewhere, waiting for someone to stumble upon it and unleash the evil that lies within? What if the man I saw in the flames is still out there, trapped in that mirror, yearning for freedom? And what if he's watching, waiting for his chance to escape? Some say mirrors are portals to other dimensions, gateways to another world. Who knows what might lie on the other side of that mirror? Perhaps a world of shadows and darkness where evil spirits roam free. When I look into a mirror, I can't help but wonder what's on the other side. What I might see if I stared long enough. Mirrors have always been a source of fascination and fear for me. I remember as a child being both intrigued and terrified by the thought of what might lurk in the glass. Stories of ghosts appearing in mirrors were common in our household, and I never looked at mirrors the same way again. One day, I decided to test my luck. I stood in front of a full-length mirror in my house, staring directly into the glass. I tried to focus, to see if I could glimpse anything beyond the surface. But all I saw was my own reflection staring back at me. Disappointed but relieved, I turned away from the mirror. Yet as I did, I caught a movement in the corner of my eye. I turned back, but it was too late. What I had seen was gone. Had I imagined it, or was there something really lurking in the mirror? To this day, I don't know. But sometimes when I pass by a mirror, I can't help but glance at my reflection and wonder, am I really here? Or am I just a figment of some otherworldly realm, trapped in a world that's not my own.